And now it is time for us to head back in time as we take you into history out there. And, of course, the one and only Harold Peacock. How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic, Damo. Yeah, another interesting story off the back of last week's story, actually.
Exactly. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is our 99th episode.
Yeah, and it always surprises me how many stories there are that just have been left untold or left forgotten. So if 99, it's been easy 99, and there's 99 coming up without a doubt.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's go back in time. We're headed back to Goondiwindi in 1917 with a suspicious death. Now, we touched on this last week, but there's more to the story.
Yes, that's right. Last week I told you about the Goondiwindi businesswoman, Mrs. Mary Bushell, who in 1917 was killed in suspicious circumstances after attending a political rally. Now, this was during a particularly contentious period when the Queensland Police was under scrutiny for seemingly doing nothing to prevent the Prime Minister, Billy Hughes, being assaulted in Warwick. Also, Queensland's Commissioner for Public Health was in Goondiwindi investigating a mystery disease and yet denied there was anything wrong. And the Toowoomba detective who investigated Mrs. Bushell's death insisted there was nothing suspicious, despite her fractured skull and the family being up in arms. Now, the investigating officer was Detective Senior Sergeant Thomas Head. Now, he was a police veteran, having joined the force as a 21-year-old in 1887. Now, not long before Mrs. Bushell's death, Detective Head had been awarded the King's Police Medal for bravery after he and a colleague arrested an armed suspect on the platform of the Toowoomba train station. Now, the suspect then drew a revolver and Detective Head's colleague hit the gun with his umbrella. Detective Head gave chase and actually captured the man. Now, the whole dramatic affair was witnessed by the Governor of Queensland, Sir Hamilton Gould Adams. He was travelling on the train that was at the station at the time. Now, of course, he was highly complimentary of Detective Head and his courage, and so no doubt was influential in Head getting the award. Now, Head was 49 years old when in 1915 he married the Toowoomba girl, Miss Julia Stofeld, and she was actually almost half his age. Now, Head's father-in-law had almost been killed by a bullock at Ravensbourne near Crow's Nest before becoming a licensee of the European Hotel on Russell Street in Toowoomba. And that's on the site, or was on the site, where the National Hotel is today. Now, Detective Head had served in Mount Morgan, Townsville, Rockhampton, before coming south, settling down in Toowoomba. Although towards the end of his career, he was transferred to Brisbane, where he took over as officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Branch. So look, it actually appears that he had an exemplary career because as well as being decorated for valour, he'd been chosen in every instance to attend royal visitors to the state, as well as even in the national retinue that accompanied the future King Edward VIII in 1920. So when Detective Head retired after 39 years' service in 1927, there was £400 collected from the people of Brisbane. That's almost $160,000 today. That went towards a gift for him, and that included a bag of Australian gold sovereigns and a crystal and silver decanter, and even a gold wristwatch for his wife, Julia. Now, it was presented by none other than Mr. Frank McDonald, who was the chairman of McDonald and East Department Stores and a former government minister. Now, the only blot on Detective Head, his career, appears to have been his investigation of the death of Mrs. Bushell in Goondiwindi. That's at least according to the dissatisfaction of the family. Anyway, Detective Head died childless in 1929, leaving his wife Julia without a guiding hand or his police protection that she once had. Anyway, Julia took over from her family as licensee of the Shamrock Hotel on Ruthven Street in the centre of Toowoomba. Julia's brother lost his bid to enter state parliament and was convicted of practising as an unlicensed solicitor. Julia moved to Brisbane, where she set up shop as a hairdresser, casket agency and tobacconist on Adelaide Street, where Ted's camera store is today. That's where she was arrested and subsequently convicted of running an illegal betting shop.
Wow.
So while I couldn't find any definitive evidence supporting that the investigation of Mrs. Bushel's Goondiwindi death in 1917 by the Toowoomba detective head, I can't find any evidence that was corrupt, but there is evidence that his wife and her family may have sailed a little too close to the wind at times.
Sounds like it, and they got their comeuppance.
Yes, that's right. But it's just the mysteries there, like Mrs. Bushel in 1917, of course, the family of the investigating officer. They're all really interesting stories. On the Cross of Darling Downs and Groundabout, there's so much history there, so you've got to love it.
There certainly is. If you've got a story you'd like Harold to follow up on, all you got to do is email us, and you can do that to Toowoomba Studio AM at srn.com.au. That's Toowoomba Studio AM at srn.com.au, because we love doing that, don't we, tracking out stories?
Oh, that's right. The listeners have so much rich history that maybe they think, oh, no one's interested in that. Well, guess what? There's always a story there. That's of interest more broadly. Absolutely.
There certainly is. Now, mate, you'll be posting this story up on your website?
That's right. I do it at the end of the week on Friday. I put this story on my website. That's historyouthere.com, and there'll be photos of a lot of these people that are in the story, so it kind of brings it alive.
It certainly does, mate. Always good to chat for our 99th. I can't wait till next week when we do our big 100th.
Yeah, I'm feeling under pressure, but look, it'll be another good story from the region.
No doubt it will be, mate. You have a great week, and we'll talk next week.
See you then.